actually really flexible. I was thinking Friday too, but you know.
Okay, everybody. So take a look at this graph.
No, yeah. No, literally, yes. Because we was for lunch.
Are you all with me?
I got something from her, and then Thursday I was like, do I go to school? And then I did.
All right, everybody. This
What is this?
is an example of a piecewise function. So literally, piecewise is a function that's in pieces. So this particular one, they can look all different kinds of ways. This is just one example. So the function, if x is less than -1, follows this piece. If x happens to be greater than -1, but less than +1, it would follow this piece. And then if x happened to be greater than 1, I'd follow this piece. All right, for this particular graph. So what I could do is I could ask you, hey, what's the value of this function at different values, I guess. So if I said, all right, what's the value of this function when x is 2, for example? Well, I would just go to where x is 2, and I'd come up and I'd see, oh, okay, assuming these are, each box is 1 unit. When x is 2, wouldn't y be 3? Right? So if I were to ask you, hey, what's f of 2? If this is the f function, that answer would be 3. You follow me so far? Let's try another one. What if I said, all right, what is the value of this function at -2? So if x is -2, what's your y value? 0. Everybody see that? If
So
x is -2, isn't your y value just 0?
Oh, yeah.
Let's try another one. What if f were, what if x were 0? So what would f of 0 be?
3.
Yes. If I plug in 0 for x, 1, 2, and I come up, I'm hitting at 3. So f of 0 would be 3.
Oh.
Let's try a trickier one. What do you think f of 1 would be?
Yeah.
2? Is that the general consensus? Is 2? I agree with you. Now listen, you're looking here, but you'll notice that this is an open circle, which means that the function does not actually exist there. So when I'm trying to figure out what the value is at 1, I can only have one answer, right? If they're both filled in, that's a problem. Now it's not a function anymore, right? Wouldn't it fail the vertical line test? This passes the vertical line test, right? These, I know they're 2 dots on top of each other, but if one's open, there is not actually a value there, right? So this would be the value. Same thing's happening here. I have 2 on top of each other, but there's only one answer because that's an open circle. So f of 1 is in fact 2. So what would f of -1 be? Don't say it out loud. Everybody just get that answer in your head. What's f of -1? Get that number in your head. Do you have it? Okay, on the count of 3, say it. 1, 2, 3. 1 is right. Oh, I'm so happy. Let's do one more. What would f of -3 be? If this is the f function, of course. Everybody has your answer? Okay, we're going to say it on 3 again. 1, 2, 3. Yay! Correct. All right. How's that?
That's okay.
This is all right. Let me show you another example. Here's one here. There we go. All right. So here is a different piecewise function. We have one piece of it existing over here, one piece of it existing over here. So if I were to ask you what f of, oh, I don't know, let's do f of 1. What would you say that is? -2, right? When x is 1, the y value is apparently -2. what would f of 5 be? Also -2, right? Because every value along this is just going to be -2. All right, what would f of -3 be? 2, I'm hearing. Go -3, and the graph exists at a +2. Is this all right? Let's do the weird one, f of -2. Don't say it out loud. Get that answer in your head. Where is that one going to
The
exist?
fourth floor bathroom was closed, and when I got down to the third, someone was in every single stall.
Sorry to hear that. Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Is this Algebra 2 CPA?
It
All
is.
right, I want to introduce you to Pharrell Love.
Hi.
This is Masabia.
Yes.
So she is going to be in this class starting today. I'll send you an email in a few minutes, but
Okay.
transferring it from Cameroon. So we're not sure exactly the placement just because their math is somewhat different. But she did take the placement test in this Corona said either this or Algebra 1 Part 2 or something.
Okay.
But she definitely has some math skills.
All right, great. Well, welcome.
All right.
All right, let me see where. Yeah, I think that might actually be my only one. These students are just absent today. So why don't you have a seat there and I'll get you the sheet that will work.
Great. All
Thank
right,
you.
I'll email you in a little bit.
Okay, great. Oh, wait, I didn't give you guys the sheet, did I? No,
No.
okay, right.
Is your last name?
It's Sabia, but
That's what I said. It's how I was like, sorry.
I was like, wait a minute.
That's fine.
I don't really hear it.
all right, so we are taking a look at -2. So when you plug in -2, what is your y value that comes out?
Wait, what?
F of -2, we're
Oh, but
looking
it's
at.
open. But it's, oh, it's open. Wait, am I like this?
Wait, I feel like.
This one's open, right? This one, I'll darken it, so that one's definitely closed and that one's definitely open.
Negative.
Why'd you do that?
All right.
Is it
Yeah,
negative?
I thought it was. Yes, so they are, yeah, again, I have one that's open, one that's closed, so we gotta go with the one that's closed, yep.
Hypothetically, if there was two open
It wouldn't
ones.
be a function.
Great, well, it could be a function,
But
they're
it
both
wouldn't be,
open.
but it wouldn't be.
You just wouldn't have a value at that point.
Okay.
So I'll show you another example that has like, it just doesn't exist there.
Okay.
So, but if you had two closed circles, that's a big problem because that's not a function anymore. Can you have, so, is everybody listening?
Yes.
You can have multiple open circles on top of each other because there are no values there. The only thing that ruins it is when you have more than one filled in circle on top of each other. That's a big deal. So I can have 15 open circles if I want, as long as I don't have more than one open circle on the same vertical line. Make sense? You can have pieces where the graph doesn't even exist. So, oh, our answer to this one was -2.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. Let's look at one more before we switch gears a little bit. Let's see if I can even get this one on here. Look at this beauty. Aha. Let me fill in the ones that should be filled in, so that's very clear.
Ew.
Sabia.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Is this a worksheet?
I didn't know.
Okay.
I didn't hand it out yet. I'm just giving you an example. I have it right here. Don't worry, I'll get it for you.
How does this work? I didn't know.
I know you were missing for a while, so I know.
No, it wasn't on purpose.
I know. I actually chatted with Bruce on the way up and he told me that the bathrooms were gonna be closed because there's so much vandalism.
Vandalism.
I know, could you
Oh my
imagine?
God.
Could you imagine?
That was
Vandalism. Who's vandalizing our beautiful school?
I don't know. All right.
Literally
Most
do it.
fashion schools have like, it's like, I love you.
Oh, not the boy.
Oh, yeah, the
The boys are just like.
Yeah.
And then-
All right, guys, let's take a look at this one here. Notice how, is everybody with me? My function exists here, here, and here, but it doesn't even exist over here. And that's okay. So that's just not part of the function, right? So if I were to ask you the domain of this thing, what would you tell
I
me?
love you. You're beautiful. Is it actually?
Ours is like, would be something like 0 to, I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6.
6. Yeah.
So here's the thing, guys, is everybody with me here?
Yeah.
So, yeah, if we assume that this graph kept going and we don't know if it does or doesn't, so just based on what I see in front of me, I would have a domain x is greater than or equal to 0, but less than 6, right? I don't actually have a value at 6. So if I'm assuming, hey, I'm just going to give the domain of what I see right in front of me, that would be it. So I don't have a function that exists over here where x is negative. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So let's try this one. What if I asked you to find, oh, there's some of them right here. What would f of 2 be?
4, 3.
It'd be 3, right? If you go to 2, I know your first instinct is to go here, but that's open. So you're like, oh, it doesn't exist there. I have to go up to this one. So f of 2 would in fact be 3. F of 3 would be,
Wait, no, I'm like counting.
it'd be 3
Three
again.
again.
Sorry.
Wait, it could still be even if there's no dot.
Yeah, because
Okay.
the line represents,
Okay.
yeah. So anywhere where there is a line or a dot. F of 4.
No, 5.
5.
Yay.
Now, great question. F of 6, what's that?
No, it's the open circle, so it's nothing.
So you'd have to write undefined,
What is
no
wrong? I'm
value.
literally doing so good at math. I literally always am like out of it.
So much joy right now.
No, wait. Oh, I said 0, but like same thing. No.
Okay, so how do we feel about this part? That's doable?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna step it up a little notch.
What? I thought this was good.
This was like, this is baby intro. Now we're getting. to
Okay, well
the- to
now
the meat
that
of
you're
it.
gonna bring that up, my day's gonna go
Brady,
straight down.
your outfit looks like you're in like
Art?
Arthur. Yeah.
What is that?
Hamster thing? Wait, yeah, what kind of
Art
animal is
bar?
I think it's a guinea pig. I thought it was like.
Bizarre bar. Wait, what was that show? Oh, it's a wait, was it a movie on Vito in that? Oh no.
Yeah, yeah,
That-
yeah. I remember that, because he said something about it.
Come on, Jack.
He's an art one. Do you want to do the song? He's a what?
I got my
He's an art
job.
one.
Guys, she's literally coming out with a movie on the street bus. Yes, it's like, it's about salad. It's about creating salad.
I remade it because my notes on top of it, it was very
No,
good.
yeah. The best songs in the album are.
Yeah, see, Brady, that's a.
Same. I'm like, you know,
No, it's
no, but like,
art
Loki is.
part.
Okay, everybody, so
What's that, Maxine?
let's take a look at the sheet that I just gave you.
Do you remember like the dance? It's like.
All right, everybody, you with me? I actually want you to focus on the middle section for a moment. So the 13 to 18 area. Hold on, I got my camera all messed
Oh
up.
God, this looks hard though.
It's not so bad. So let's look at what's going on here. So I showed you a picture of a couple of piecewise functions. Here's some more. What we want to look at now is, all right, great, we saw a couple, but what do they look like when you go to write that function down? So take a look at number 13, for example. So this is telling you the function is going to follow this line, x minus 4, if x is less than or equal to 1. And then it tells me it's going to follow this other line, 3x, if x is greater than 1. So there's always some sort of piece over here that tells you where the graph exists. Okay, I like to think of this as like, this is where my graph is changing. So for us, apparently it's at +1. So if I go ahead and I look at these graphs, oh, of course, maybe not. So if I'm trying to like match, right, this section 13, 18, I'm trying to match them. So I want to look for graphs that have a change happening at +1. These are all the lines are by 2. So A does have a change happening at +1. So I'm going to keep it in the running. D does also, but B does not, right? See how B's change is happening at 0. It's not happening at +1.
Oh.
So B is not in the running here. E is. C is not though, right? That change is happening at -1. And F, again, that one's happening at 0. So already we've narrowed our pool down quite a bit by half. Now we just have to figure out, all right, well, which of these 3 graphs that we have actually represents what is being said right here. So here's what I want to look for. I want to look for the line x minus 4. You guys know how to graph that. Wouldn't I start at -4 and go up 1/1? So who has that line drawn when x is less than or equal to 1? So if I look, let's see, I'm looking for -4 and I want to be going up 1/1. -4, up 1/1. Yeah, I think it's E. And then I'm gonna match my other one.
Wait, why?
Isn't this the line x minus 4?
Wait, and then it goes down 1, 2. Oh, because it goes down 4?
I gotta start at -4, right? And remember, each of these is 2, so that's -2, -4. So I'm starting at -4, and then my slope is a +1. So up 1/1, up 1/1.
8, 2, 4. Oh, so is it by 2s?
Yes, all of these are by 2s.
Okay, so 2, 4. Okay, and what?
Now let's just check if the other branch really matches. So when x is greater than 1, supposedly this line is supposed to be 3x. Does that appear to be 3x? I know it's hard with the scale, it's weird, but yes, this is going up 3/1. It does, notice it says when x is greater than 1, not or equal to. So I should have an open dot there, and I do. So I'm fairly confident that 13 is going to be E. Let's take care of our other ones that have a change happening at 1. So who else has a change happening at 1? Which number? 15 does. So let's all take a look at 15. I'm looking for one branch to be this line, 3x minus 2, and the other to be x plus 2. So see, out of A and D, see if you can figure out which one is 15. I've got it. You got it? Zach, what is it? I agree. It's got to be D. I want 3x minus 2. So if I look at D, starting at -2, yep, got it. And then I want a slope of +3. Yeah, that fits. And then for my other line, I want it to be x plus 2. So it would be starting at 2, right? And then going up 1/1. But remember, it only exists when x is greater than 1. So that's why it's not drawn all the way over here. So yeah, that one's got to be D. So obviously we know that A has to be, which one?
17.
It's got to be 18, right? Because that's the only other one that's having a split at 1.
18.
17.
No, 18.
It had a one. It had a one.
Let's see. You already know which one 17 is.
I literally did that today before.
17 has got to be C, right? That's the only one that's splitting at -1.
Yeah. Like B is 16. No, wait, never mind.
Oh my God, Easter's coming up.
So B and F both split at 0, right? So we just need to determine which one's which. Oh, now this is interesting. Look at B, right? See how my two pieces actually overlap at the same point? That's allowed, right? If I have 2 points, literally one on top of another, it just counts as 1 point. This is still a function. There is still only one value, no matter what x I plug in, I'm only going to get out one y value. So that still counts as a function. All right, so B ends up being, did you guys have it or no?
I think it's
Wait, would
14.
that be all real numbers then?
The domain would be, yeah. So starting at 4, and I want to go up 1 over 1. Oh, I hate this scale. Oh, no, when X is less than 1. Yeah, so 14 is B. So then obviously 16 must be F. Okay, so that was just a little way for you to get used to, oh, this is what functions, piecewise functions look like when they're written down. I want to rewind you back up to the top. So when I started this, I just gave you a graph and I said, hey, what's F of 4? And you told me. We're going to do the same thing, but without the graph. But we have the equation now. So check this out. I actually want to start with one that has a G. Let's do number 5. G of 7. Okay, so check this out. Is everybody with me? Watch, watch, watch. What's happening here? So I want to plug in 7 into the G function. So I'm going to come over to the G, and now I need to plug in 7. But I ask you, friends, you can't plug it in into 2 spots because then it's not a function anymore. So I'm only going to plug 7 into either the top or the bottom. How do I know which one to plug it into? I don't have a picture. You don't need a picture. This tells you. So I want to plug in the number 7. Is 7 less than or equal to 3? No, so don't plug it into the top. But look here, is 7 greater than 3? Yes. So that means I'm going to plug 7 into this bottom piece, and I'm going to get my answer. So 2 times 7 is 14 minus 1 is 13. That means the answer is 13. You will only ever get one answer, right? Because it's a function. When I plug a number in, I should only get one number back out. No matter what, if you're getting multiple answers, you're not doing it right. Or there's a big typo. That's a big issue. All right, you try 6. What would G of 0 end up being? Don't say it out loud, just get it in your head. G of 0.
Oh.
Jimmy, you have an answer?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were raising your hand.
No, yeah.
Oh, okay, go ahead. What is it? It is 5. Did you guys get it? How? Because I want to, first of all, it's a G function, so that's how I know I'm going to the G. And I want to plug in 0. 0 is less than or equal to 3. It's not greater than 3. So I'm not going to plug it into the bottom at all. I'm going to plug it into the top. And 0 plus 5 is just 5. You mean to tell me it's that easy? Kind of, this part anyway. Yep.
Like 1 and 2 where it's F and then F, they don't have any numbers. Or well, they have just the number answer. B just the answer.
Well, let's go back and do number 1. These, if you were to graph these, this is just horizontal lines, right? This is just a line y equals 3 and y equals 2. So if you want to know what the value of this function is when f is 2, again, I'm going to start over here. Is 2 less than or equal to 0? No. Is 2 greater than 0? Yes. So I'm going to put it in over here. There is no variable for me to put it into. So that is my answer. It's just 2. This is just a horizontal line. So it doesn't matter what the x value is. The y value just is that number. Right? Like look at this graph for A, right? They look like this. So if I asked you, hey, what's f of 4? The answer was -5. If I asked you what f of 6 is, the answer is -5, right? It looks like these. So it doesn't matter what x value I plug in this range, the answer is always going to be -5. That's the same thing that's happening up here in the f function. It doesn't matter what you plug in. If it's less than 0, you're going to get a 3. If it's greater than 0, you're going to get a 2. Does that make sense? So what do you get when you do number 2? F of -4. Oh, I heard one right answer. 3. Do you guys agree? That one's just 3. Now, get this one in your brain. Don't say it out loud. Try number 3, f of 0. Ooh, tricky. Or is it? I don't know. Don't say anything out loud. Just get your answer. I'll give you a hint. It's either 3 or 2. But which is it? Okay, you got it? Okay, so it's either 3 or 2. I'm going to count to 3 and you're going to tell me. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Wait, was that right?
It's 3. It's
Oh,
3.
the only one.
How? Well, I'm plugging in 0, right?
It was fun.
Is 0 less than or equal to 0? Yes. So I have to plug it into the top and get 3. You can't plug it into the bottom. 0 is not greater than 0, so it doesn't fit there. All right, real quick, try number 4. That one gets you 2 is correct.
Are we gonna have homework tonight?
Yes.
Do you do that?
I don't know. I gotta get, you don't even know how to do it yet.
We can figure it out.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, just watch your YouTube video.
I do have YouTube videos on this already.
Oh, wait, what's your channel name?
You can just search my full name, Erica Sabia, in YouTube, and it'll pop right up.
Oh, guys.
Or you mean to tell me you haven't subscribed yet?
Oh,
Thanks
that's
for the
what I'm gonna
support.
Yes, that's exactly.
Yeah.
Notifications on.
Smash that like button.
Okay, but why did?
All right. So how are we feeling with 1 through 18? You could do all of those?
Yeah.
All right, friends. We're going to talk about how to graph them ourselves now. Shimmy on down to number 19. Actually, you know what? I take that back. Let's start on 20. I'll come back to 19. Sorry, I know I'm changing a lot, but there's a reason why I want to do this one first. And I'll give you a protractor, just in case you want to have a nice, neat, straight line. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you have one.
I can do straight.
Oh, yeah, that's good. I'll be an extra floating around.
Oh my god. Oh, this one's pretty.
Have you done this class now?
You want green?
Oh, you have one too?
Green. Look which one I got. What's the, oh, it's a side question.
All right, friends, you ready?
Yeah.
So we're looking at number 20 right now. 20, 20, 20. All right, ready? Now, the way that you graph this, everybody does it a little bit different. So I'm going to show you my way. If you develop your own way, that's your business. I find it most helpful to start where things are going to change. So things are going to change for us at 3, right? Right? You guys agree? Positive 3. So what I'm going to do, this is not part of the graph, but I am going to put just a line, just a dotted line at positive 3, just to help me visualize. Again, this is not part of the graph. If you don't draw this line, it's not a big deal. But this helps me wrap my mind around this. The top graph is only going to exist on the left-hand side of this graph. This bottom one is only going to exist on the right-hand side of this graph. Right? Do you see that? Because that's my splitting point. So this is where I'm going to graph x plus 1 on this side. This is where I'm going to graph 2x minus 4. Are you with me? Now, how do you do that? You're going to graph them like you normally would. So I would normally start at 1 and go up 1 over 1. So if I'm going to graph the top one, I'm going to start at 1. I'm going to go up 1 over 1. The thing is, I'm only going to draw it on this left-hand side. So once I hit that dotted line, I do not continue. Now, we need to talk about when it does actually hit this line. Does it exist there? Well, look right here. This says if x is less than 3. So when it hits this line, I need to have an open circle because it does not actually exist at 3. So I'm going to make it quite clear that there is an open circle when this line hits 3. Does that make sense? Actually, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I want a big old open circle. I'm making mine extra big just so you can clearly see. That's an open circle. Does that make sense? Is everybody with me? You're okay so far? Now this next one gets a little weird. I want to graph 2x minus 4. So I'm going to start like I normally would. -4, down 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? My slope is 2, but here's the problem. It doesn't even exist over here. So I'm not even going to connect these dots. I'm going to connect these dots once I get past this line. So instead of drawing the whole line, I'm only drawing it when I hit this part. So all of these other little dots, I really don't need them. Oh, this is interesting. Does this one exist at 3? No, so this is another open circle. I gotta erase it, make sure that it's obvious that it's open. How are we feeling? Okay-ish? Some people like to do this, and sometimes I do it too, depending on how far away from the y-axis I am. What you could also do alternatively, you could plug in 3, right? So that'd be 6 minus 4 is 2. So you have this point 3, 2, and then you could follow your slope from there if you prefer. So if you'd rather not start on the y-axis, because you could start a line wherever you want as long as you have one point. So you could plug in an x value, get a point, and then just follow the slope. So if that's easier, you could do that. It's up to you. But here's what I want to stress to you. When you are done, do yourself a favor and do the vertical line check. I can't tell you how many times kids will graph 2 graphs on they'll both graph both of them on the left-hand side. That's not a function anymore, right? So just do that vertical line check and just make sure. And you also wanted to be double checking. Like if you accidentally left these both as closed circles, it would fail the vertical line test. It has to pass the vertical line test every time. So if it doesn't pass, you automatically know that there's a problem. Shall we try another? I knew you'd want to. All right, how about, let's go back to 19. This time, my split happens to be happening at 0, right? So you could, I mean, if you want to draw your dotted line here, but it's sort of already there. Let's do that just to kind of remind myself. So who is going to get graphed over here? X plus 3, because that one exists when x is less than or equal to 0. So this side will be where I graph x plus 3. X is greater than 0. This side is where I will graph 2x. All right, these ones aren't so bad because the split is happening at 0. So I'm just going to graph this top one. I would normally start at 3. 1, 2, 3. But now be careful. I know from here, you just want to go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. But it doesn't exist over here, right? X plus 3, I can only graph it on this side. So you can use these points to get your line set up, but only draw it over here. Or if you prefer, you can draw right? You can just draw what it would be on this side and just connect those dots. So it's kind of up to you. You have to get a system that works for you, but you have to make sure at the end of the day, you graph x plus 3 on this side only. Some people like to lightly draw the whole line and then they come in with an eraser and erase the part that they don't need. If that works for you, that's fine. All right, and then this one's going to be easy because now I am on the right-hand side and that's where I would normally graph it. So 2x would just start at 0, right? And then you just go up 2 over 1. But the question, oh, you know what? We've got to address, like, when we hit 0, what kind of a dot should we have? So what kind of a dot should I have for the top one when it hits 0? Should that be open or closed? Closed, right? Because it has the or equal to bar. When the bottom one hits 0, what should it be? That better be open. So I'm going to have to make a big old open circle over the origin. That's open. Do yourself a favor and do a quick vertical line check. Make sure nobody's overlapping. This looks good. I'm fairly happy about it. How are we feeling so far? Should we try a harder one? I knew you'd be up for it. I knew you would be.
A harder one, these are like.
Look at 21.
Oh, God. Oh, my God, what is this?
So think about what's happening. This graph only exists in between -6 and a +3. This graph only exists between a +3 and a +6. Okay, so I have something happening at -6. So let me figure out where that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I'm going to put a vertical line at -6 because I have something happening there. Remember, these vertical lines are not part of the graph. It's just to help me sort of get my bearings. I have something happening at +3. 1, 2, 3. And then I have another something at +6. So it might be helpful for me to say up top who I'm graphing where. 3x minus 4, isn't that happening in this space in between -6 and +3? So this is the space where I'm going to graph 3x minus 4. It's going to exist in that space. 10 minus x is only going to exist right in this little tiny spot. 10 minus x right there. Beyond that, I don't have a function. The function doesn't exist over here and it doesn't exist back here. Okay. So now let's just graph 3x minus 4, but I'm only going to draw the line in between these two. So I'll just draw it as long as I can until I hit those spots. Does that make sense? Are you guys with me so far? Yeah? All right. So let's try it. I'd start at -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. You got a slope of 3. So I'm going to graph as much as I can. Looks like I'm going to run off the chart, but oh yeah, it's definitely not even going to read, but that's okay. When it hits +3, should this be an open or a closed? Open, right? Look right here. It only exists when x is less than 3, not equal to. So that should be a big old open circle. Now, I know we can't fit it on our graph, but if I could, where it hit the -6 line, would that have been solid or dotted? I mean, open or closed? Closed, right? Because I do have the or equal to bar there. So if my graph were big enough that I could actually see that meeting point, that would have been a closed circle. All right, cool. So I've got that top branch done. Let's do the bottom branch. This one's a little bit trickier. I can't even start at 10. 10's not even on my graph. So we're going to have to go that other route where I just plug in a number and then follow the slope, which is fine. I can totally do that. I'm actually going to plug in, you can plug in whatever you want. I would obviously pick something in between 3 and 6. How about 3? If I plug in 3, what comes out? To the bottom thingy, this right here. You plug in 3, what's your answer? 7. So at 3, I'm gonna plug in 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Should this be a closed dot or an open dot? Closed, look, right? It's or equal to. So that's gonna be, now I just lost my spot. 6, 7. Great, I have a point on my line and I know the slope. What's the slope? -1, right? So I'm just gonna follow the slope of -1. Beep, bop, boop, beep, bop, boop. What kind of a dot do I put when I hit this side? That's gotta be open. I'm gonna erase it. See, is this as bad as you thought it was? And there you have it, my friends. Does that make sense? So we are obviously going to practice with this for a while. Let me tell you what I want you to do for homework. Let's do, can you finish the ones at the top that we didn't do? So 1 through 12, make sure that's done. So finish these. And then on the back, I don't know. I say we do them all. Sorry.
On the dot.
Yeah. Yeah, there's only 6. They're not bad. And I'm giving you, no, I'll give you 5 minutes, please. How about this? I'll give you 5 minutes in the morning tomorrow to finish if you didn't. Why am I just there, just yeah, whatever you want. All right, so that, and then that makes it easy. So just finish this worksheet both sides. Okay, okay. All right, let me put this.
Okay, wait, that's easy, so we just, I just have the back.
Finish all the ones on that you finished 1 through 12?
1 to 12.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, good.
that's good. I'll just. Oh my God, Anna. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's not, it's too late.
So- You and I line up for.
Yes.
Is it like this?
Oh, that's okay. Just draw it as far as you could.
That's why I just started.
So you'd start 3, go up 2 and 1, up 2 and 1. Yeah, that's fine. So it would connect, it's just gonna connect like that. You want to draw it. Where it hits. Well, let's do it. Let's make it one.
She literally did.
Sorry.
Like I didn't even see that story.
And this
Interesting.
is-
Oh,
Yeah. Do you know where you're going now? Okay, 3144.
That's like weird. I don't know. What do I do now? No, I can't even send the wow. But I
You
know
say
I want to do
so.
it. I did. I took a picture of you and Joe and you were like
Good.
in it. Yeah, because I like nature.
Yeah.
She's being like,
Say that again?
like I don't know, maybe it's because I'm like
You never got before?
she like does
Oh.
not. Joe doesn't know anything.
It's cheaper, right?
Dude, are you like
So like if I ask you to graph, just something like,
Guys,
y
I'm really
equals
so
2x
sorry.
plus 4.
Okay, well.
No.
Alright.
So I'm not really sure.
No.
This would be the right class to do that. Let me talk to my boss and see if we can figure it out. So we probably chat with her. So just do what you can. And then we'll touch base again.
I don't like it. This thing is. All the fucking time. Oh, well, there's like, the one that. Oh, yeah. Did you know? Oh, no, but you like it.
I'm not even in my school.
Mia? You'd be surprised. I found out. Yeah, the prom, actually. Yeah, the prom.
So, I have 4, I was able to go back.
Good.
And then 2x plus 3 is on the left side.
Yeah.
And then x minus 1 is on the right. Now, I'm graphing to
Yeah,
I'm going up.
that's perfect, yeah. So
But
you
it's not
can,
gonna hit the line.
well, I mean,
Or does that matter?
no. If you, I mean, you could make it, just draw your line really long, right, if you wanted. So, but yeah, if it just runs off, it runs off, that's fine. And then you're gonna grab this one, x minus 1. So you could start here and then follow the slope.
And when I
Until
start,
you get
I
over
start
here?
x minus 1 at minus 1. And then-
No, you would, well, at minus 1 here.
Yeah.
And then you
And
follow
then
that.
but I'd erase on this side.
Right, or if you'd rather, you can plug in 4 and you get out 3. So you could start it here and then just follow your slope. You know what I mean? There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, good luck today. I hope that you have a lovely day, and we'll touch base again tomorrow and kind of see where you're at, or, you know, whatever, I don't know. I want to make it, you know, let me chat with my boss, because I think she did like your pre-test or something. So, okay, so let me talk to her, because maybe we could just get you filled in on that part, or, I don't know. We'll give it a shot. Enjoy the rest of your day. It was nice to meet you. Good morning.
Hello, Star. How are you? Good. Yes. Yeah.